You never know how easy it is to catch a tuna. All he needs is a bacon breakfast on the boat. This is where the tuna takes the bait. A tuna this size, if the meat is fat enough, they can easily sell for tens of thousands of dollars each, easily making millions a month. Midnight of this day, Cook's team just dropped their first bait to win the championship. They can't stop fishing. Follow Cook as the boss. You have to work 24 hours a day. There is still 1 week left until the end of the season. They don't want to waste a second. They only set one bait tonight. Too many to attract sharks. I dropped the bait and went to sleep. It was a little after 1 a.m. The fishing rod was suddenly tugged, but no one noticed. The probe also kept ringing. Should we just let this fish drift with the waves? Cook woke up first. When he came to inspect the fishing rod, there was no movement. He saw a shark appear. I thought I caught a shark. Cook shouted for the pigs to get up. After shouting for hours, the team finally woke up. My teammates are still in shock. This fish is very fierce. Cook is pulling and pulling. He could feel that the fish was very big. Teammates with harpoons are ready to attack. Soon the fish was pulled out of the water. Looks like a tuna, but the teammate did not choose to attack. I'm going to pull this tuna straight onto the boat. This fish is 75 inches in size. That's really lucky. At first I thought it was a shark. I didn't think it was a tuna, and the size fits the arrest range. It's a double surprise. This tuna is small in size, but you can make a lot of money. Cook's been catching fish very often lately. After all, even a fly is meat, as long as the fish is fat enough. I can get a good price for it. When they found out Cook and his crew had caught tuna, Dave, he's out fishing right now too. After all, there's not much time left to fish. They also play the final stage. Paul and his crew sailed around the same time. He's in the lead at the moment. He's had some good luck fishing this season. Paul is still very confident. He still thinks he can win the championship. It was a little after 6 in the morning. Jack's team is fishing for kindergarten at sea. There are plenty of fishing spots out at sea. Jack, they want to stay away from the competition. I hope I catch a big fish. The detector detected a tuna approaching. The fishing rod was jerked. Jack and his teammates scrambled excitedly. They haven't caught any tuna for 2 weeks. All 3 rods are responding. But it was the bait that fell. Only one of the rods caught a tuna. They looked very busy. Paul was nearby, keeping an eye on them. Paul wished them a decoupling. Dave and his men were watching Jack fishing too. Jack, they got this little boat. It was hated by everyone. Why can't Jack catch tuna in this little boat? And they can't. If it were me, I feel jealous too. Everyone is watching their situation. If it's a big tuna, it's going to piss everyone off. Teammates are pulling in the line, and Jack is steering the boat. Tuna fishing is a long process. Although hurry not to come, but the longer you fish, the greater the risk of decoupling. The tuna refuses to come up underwater. It's not far away. They don't have enough men. 1 man sailing and 1 man fishing. Teammates are waiting for their chance. After the attack with the harpoon, the tuna swam under the boat. They caught this fish for a long time. Jack attacked twice in a row with a harpoon. To get this fish down, when they pulled the tuna onto the fishing boat, it's obvious that this fish is heavy. It's 106 inches long. That's a good head. It's another day to leave work early. Cook and his men have returned to port. Cook has caught 12 tuna so far. This is the smallest he caught today, but I hope it's fat enough. The fish weighed a staggering 153 pounds. They feel very satisfied. Then it's up to the buyer to make the offer. Small as it is, but it's pretty fat. The buyer offered $19 a pound. They raked in $2,900. This fish cost the same as Paul's hundreds of pounds. Very profitable indeed. And then there's Jack and his crew. They caught a big fish today. Jack and his crew have caught their 9th fish so far. Their grades are in the middle, although there is no hope of winning. This fish is big though, but in the hands of shady buyers. Probably not as good as a small fish. This tuna weighs 503 pounds. The black merchant says the fish is beautiful. There's some fat under the skin. The price was only $14. even though I made $7,042. But the price is destined to feed the tuna to the dogs. But that $7,000 plus is a lot of money for Jack. Marcia, they're cooking breakfast again. That's 2 boiled bacon tuna in a row. I don't know if I'll be lucky this time. The bacon is crispy. Looking at the screen, I feel like I have to leave a floor of saliva. What's more, there are eggs. Teammates are complaining that the fishing season is ending soon. He wanted very much to fish all year. That's how you get rich. I'm starting to eat breakfast today, but I haven't heard anything from the probe yet. After they finish eating, finally some tuna. The tuna came under the boat. Soon the fish are on the hook. Team AJ is pulling in like crazy. I have strength after breakfast. Once again, they caught tuna for breakfast. If you eat breakfast at sea every day, if you can catch a tuna, if that's the case, $1 million a month would be easy. The tuna hovered under the water. Martian now felt like a man. His teammate pointed to a nearby fishing boat dozens of meters away. Call them to leave now. If you can't catch a fish, it's their fault. It's really bad when you catch a tuna. Jay was very aggressive in retracting. If you can't, switch to another teammate. The tuna is dying underwater. Teammates with harpoons ready to attack. When the fish is pulled closer, Marcia throws a Mach 5 harpoon. It's a good hit on this tuna. This fish is destined to be sashimi. No matter how hard it resists, it's in vain. They just had a breakfast. I just caught a tuna. They pulled the tuna into the boat. It doesn't look big, but it's enough to cover their costs for a week. The fish was only 78 inches long. It's a little fish. The little fish cook sold this morning. The unit price is $19. I wonder how much Marcia's fish will fetch. It was a little after 1 p.m. Tyler is out fishing too. They dare not eat breakfast on board. Cat slapped me after breakfast last time. The detectors indicate the presence of tuna. Soon the rod was pulled. It's really fast on the fish. Otter was watching. They were Taylor's biggest rivals. Sister is tightening the fishing line. She feels a bit like a shark this time, because tuna and sharks pull differently. Soon my sister saw the fins. Make sure it's a shark this time. This is a real joy for nothing. I fish for tuna. What the hell are you doing here? Make sure they return to the port to sell fish. This fish is relatively small in size. It weighs only 259 pounds. Cook had about 100 pounds more fish than they had in the morning. Just don't know what price to sell. This fish has a high fat density. The fish core is perfect. The buyer eventually offered $21 per unit. Marcia and they raked in $5,493. They are very satisfied. A day passed in this way. It was a little after 5 o'clock in the morning. Paul and they came to the fishing spot. Fishing is usually much easier in the morning. The fishing season ends in a few days. There's not much left for them to fish. Paul took a nap and came back at dawn. He and Dave have been holding the area. Waiting for tuna is a very boring process. The surprise comes so suddenly. Paul hurried to get his teammates up. Dave, however, was already keeping an eye on Paul. Anglers don't like it when anglers fish, especially at the end of the season. Everyone wants to end up with a fish. If you go out fishing, it doesn't matter how much you catch. What matters is if you don't catch one before you leave. Always feel the heart almost what. The tuna soon lost its strength. Paul went straight for it with the harpoon. They caught another tuna. Is it still too late for me to go? Catch me one too. Paul was in great luck. Dave was starting to envy it too. After they pulled the fish out, this fish is 100 inches. It's bigger than I thought. His teammates shouted with joy. When Cook hears the news, I was very depressed because Paul is a strong rival for the top spot. They catch a lot of fish, but the total was only a few $100s higher than Paul's. Tyler and they were just as surprised. Paul is really strong this season. Everyone thought Paul would get the first prize. Even the girls think Paul's going to win. The next thing to see is how much Paul gets for his fish. What Cook caught yesterday was only a small fish. Paul, no matter how low the price of this fish is, I'm sure it's worth more than Cook's fish. After the buyer removes the head and tail, the fish weighed a whopping 421 pounds. They were very happy. As long as the fish isn't too bad, they're going to be way ahead of Cook's team. The color and core of this fish are very beautiful. Paul, and they really want a higher unit price. The buyer offered $22. Paul raked in $9,262. A fish is close to $10,000. Paul is way ahead of Cook's team. In the next few days, if I can catch one more fish, Paul is definitely in first place. OTT's got the most men, but his grades were mediocre. You end up with even less money. Almost every member of their team was fat. I haven't had a fish in here all day. The detector shows 2 tuna coming here. It didn't take long for the rod to respond. Teammate trying to pull in the line. 2 tuna. Is it just a fish? If both take the bait, then the show will be full. The team quickly pulls the fish closer. This fork goes down. Tuna doesn't even need 10 lives to die. It's still struggling underwater. Looks like he doesn't want to be sashimi. Instead of sashimi, make fish head with chopped pepper. These people love it anyway. It took a lot of effort to tie the tail down. You get paid for the fish you catch. Every time I hear someone catch a fish, Cook wasn't even happy. I feel like I've lost my #1 spot. After they pulled the fish out, he looks thin. The fish is only 92 inches in size. They immediately return to the port to sell fish. The size is not small. It looks slender. I don't think this fish is very fat. This fish weighs only 295 pounds. No surprises, though. The fish is a nice fat band. The core looks good. The buyer offered $23 a pound. The price surprised me. I really didn't expect it to be this high. They raked in more than $6,785. Although weight is no surprise. But the price was an absolute surprise. Dave, and they never got anything. I've been watching people fish for days. When will it be my turn? The season ended quickly. They don't stand a chance of winning. Everyone's bored like a jerk. The bait that was dropped swam back in fear of death. There are a lot of little sharks around. It's going to affect their fishing in a big way. Dave kept staring at the probe. Soon a tuna appeared nearby. Sure enough, the teammate's fishing rod was pulled directly. When the fish bites the hook, it's going to pull in the opposite direction. The fish dispelled their negative thoughts. Teammates quickly put on their team uniforms to cheer. Soon the tuna is pulled to the surface. Teammates wait with harpoons. Attack as soon as you show your face. That's how easy it was to catch a tuna, although the wait time is longer. But there will be gains. Tuna trawl through the water to cool off. Cook was jealous again. Always see others fishing. I feel bad about it. Dave, they pull the fish into the boat. Looks very nice. It's only 84 inches long. The fish is estimated to sell for about $5,000. We haven't seen this in days. Dave, they've caught 11 fish. There are not many quotas left. The season will be over any minute. This fish weighs only 217 pounds. I didn't realize it was so light. If the unit price is high, it makes some money. The unit price is $21. They made less than $5,000. That's just about ideal. What surprises do the contestants have in store for us next? Look forward to an update in the next video. I never thought making money could be so easy. We just dropped the anchor a little after 1 o'clock. Then a lure is dropped into the water. We don't have 2 minutes. The fishing rod is directly on the hook. A giant tuna takes the bait, even a broken rib. When we pull the tuna on board, the true value of this broken rib. They sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Easily make millions a month. This evening, Dave took his boat out to fish. He knew the fishing season would end any minute. Paul is also working against the clock. Try to catch another tuna. He is currently #1. Still want to catch the last fish. Cook and his men have arrived at the fishing spot. Almost everyone is night fishing tonight, because tomorrow's the last day of the season. In the final stage, every captain's wish is to be able to catch a fish at the end. Jack, they know they can't win, but I still want to make more money to go home. Marcia is very confident about today. He was sure he could catch a tuna. The skies soon brightened. They were all waiting anxiously. Tyler and his team decided to go south. With the seasons, the water temperature affects the position of the tuna. He desperately needs a big fish to strike back. It's past 7 o'clock in the morning. Everyone is gradually dropping the bait. Tuna opens better in the morning. Saw whales feeding nearby. This is a good sign. Whales leave a lot of food scraps behind as they forage. This is likely to attract tuna. Cook was staring at the screen. The probe soon became abnormal. Sure enough, the tuna came nearby. Whales are really useful around here. The fishing rod was jerked. They got busy all at once. Cook, and they scored their first shot of the morning. That's good luck indeed. This fish means they can have a perfect ending. The tuna just bit the hook. Physical strength is very strong. Take the length of the fishing line. Just wait until it loses its strength to reel it in. This fish will get them off work early today. If it's big, there should be a chance of a counterattack. Soon the fish had no strength. Teammates with harpoons ready to attack. When the tuna is pulled out of the water, a straight fork keeps it from finding its mother. The morning just started. They've already harvested one fish. Cook, they were so excited that they flew. He vowed to take back what was lost. When the others hear the news, are very anxious. Cook, there are already 13 fish. Is Paul going to lose his first place? They pulled the fish onto the back of the fishing boat. This tuna is only 88 inches. It's not really that big. Depends on whether the fish is fat enough. When Cook returned to port, the wife is already waiting. The difference between the two is 20 years. Cook will eat anything to get a new fishing boat, won't he? The fish is smaller today, but he weighs 263 pounds. They feel very satisfied. The buyer says the fish has a nice color, and there's plenty of fat. The final price was $17 per unit. Cook's team made $4,471. Fishing season isn't over yet. Cook and his men head back to the fishing spot to try and catch another one. They're currently in second place, just $1,600 less than Paul. It's past 9 a.m. Jack, they're dropping bait. They're not trying to be first, just trying to get rich for the new year. Good things happen when you see whales. A tuna appeared at the bottom of the boat. They all expect the tuna to bite. Sure enough, tuna is greedy. They bite the bait when they see it, as long as it doesn't decouple. This tuna could be Jack's last. The tuna circled constantly under the water. They didn't catch much fish, though, but they have a lot of costs and minimal staffing. The final distribution of personal money is very optimistic. The tuna soon loses its strength. Jack attacked with a harpoon. I didn't expect the rope to wrap around my feet. For a moment, he saw his grandmother waving to him. Think back to that moment. It's really dangerous, being dragged down by tuna. He's probably going to die. The good news is that the fish are not yet unhooked. He was clutching his ribs in great pain. The team continues to reel in the tuna. I thought it was going to be a happy day. I almost saw God in pain. Other people show their teeth and smile. And Jack was in real pain. If this fish doesn't catch, well, then Jack must be happy with the worst finish. When the team pulls the fish closer again, Jack took his revenge with a harpoon. Looks like he's really scared to death. Fortunately, revenge was successful in the end. This tuna almost killed him. Jack told the news to the others. The ankle was marked by the rope. Although the experience is dangerous, at least I can laugh now. Other captains expressed concern. I didn't think it was real anyway. After they pulled the fish out. At 89 inches, tuna isn't that big, but it's enough to be happy. After all, it ends the season perfectly. It's what every captain wants. At 11 a.m., Dave decided to change the location. He thinks there aren't any fish left, so I'll try my luck in another position. Paul gave Dave his blessing. He still chose to stay here. Jack returns to the port to sell fish. This is the 10th fish he has caught. After the buyer decapitates the fish, it weighs 264 pounds. Pretty much the same fish Cook caught. The fatty band of this tuna is very dense. The core is good too. The buyer offered $22 per pound. Jack, and they made over $5,800. The price is really beautiful. They did it while there was still time. Still choose to go out fishing. Otter got a text. Tomorrow is the last day of the quota. There's still one more day left. Everyone decided to go fishing tonight. Paul was nervous too. Half of the day is over. Everyone is waiting. Cook and his crew are already at the fishing spot. Some people are trying to be first. Some people are trying to make more money. It's past 6 p.m. The girls are changing the bait over here. They had very bad luck. Fishing is minimal. I think they wasted enough bait to fill a tuna. When they put down all the bait, the detector picked up the presence of tuna. Looks like I got lucky today. Soon there will be fish on the hook. The girls are pretty excited. Adjust the boat as you fish. Tuna can pull very hard underwater. The girl knelt on it to fish. I've been up all night thinking about it. I don't understand why she's on her knees fishing. The tuna circled under the boat. The girl had to keep turning around. I'm getting dizzy from side to side. Soon the fish had no strength. After being pulled to the surface, the girl attacked with a harpoon. Although the process is a great struggle, but this fish can't resist the lure of a girl. They succeeded in catching a tuna. Looks like a pretty big deal. After the tuna is pulled onto the fishing boat, that's 100 inches. This head is bigger than Cook and Jack's fish. The buyer looked at the two sisters and salivated. This is the biggest fish we've caught today. Fish are very big. It weighs 475 pounds. The girls are happy with it. The color of the fish is beautiful. The buyer said a lot, but girls just want money. The final offer was $22 per unit. The girls raked in $10,450. That's a pretty price indeed. The girls said they'd be back tomorrow. The day passed quickly. Today is the last day. Dave and they were very nervous. I don't know if I can get anything today. They came to Jeffrey's fishing spot today. The competition is least here. Dave is currently in third place. There's really no hope of winning. Otter and his men are fishing for bait. Today is the last day of the season. They're not confident of catching fish. Drop the bait before dawn. Until now, finally, the tuna has arrived. Soon the fishing rod was pulled. None of my teammates have reacted yet. At first I thought it was a shark, but they don't want to admit it. You don't get paid until you catch tuna. Otter told everyone about the tuna. Jack asked for specific depth. Everyone else started learning. Dave was fishing near them. OTT, they're worried it'll affect their fishing. Dave asked for the location of the tuna. Finally, take the boat away. Tuna can pull a lot underwater. Teammates think it's a big guy. Before it reaches the surface, no one wants to get too excited. In case of decoupling, they're going to make fun of me all year. The tuna is soon pulled to the surface. OTT strikes with a fishing rod. Tuna was so excited that he almost said dirty words. But he was soon tied to the tail with a rope. There were people cheering for it. I don't know if you have noticed that someone is acting as soy sauce. The tuna drags underwater to cool off. Dave was the first to send his blessing. The ones who didn't catch the fish got depressed. Today is the last day. It really sucks not to have a fish to go back to. After pulling the fish out, this fish is 101 inches long. It's the biggest fish in 2 days. Past 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Jack and the boys just got to the fishing spot. Looks like I caught a fish yesterday. It doesn't matter today. After they put the bait in the water, there was a noise from the probe. I didn't think I'd bite so fast. A tuna was caught yesterday. I caught another one today. This season, they were the final winners. I just got to work an hour ago. They caught one fish, and the fish soon lost its strength. Did the two brothers break up? That's the fastest fish I've ever seen. This fish looks very big. Catch 2 tuna in a row. Gives them a chance to win. OTT's already selling fish. This fish is by far the biggest. Weighs only 415 pounds. It was pretty good. The color and core are very good. The buyer was silent for a moment. They gave you a price of $22 per unit. OTT and his crew raked in $9,130. What a perfect ending. They did surprise the end. After 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Paul contacted Dave for details. They both want to catch a fish at the end. Just got off the phone. Dave's detectors are picking up big fish. In this case, it could be a shark. It could be tuna. They want to catch a big fish right now. Dave thinks it's a shark. When the fishing rod is pulled, all of a sudden, they were excited again. But Jay wasn't in any hurry. Dave and his team helped clear the area. The anchor point in the water is first on the fishing line. It has to be cleaned up as soon as possible. Otherwise, It is easy to break the fishing line. The tuna hovered beneath the water. Looks big. If I can reel it in, then there will be no regrets this season. The tuna is soon pulled to the surface. What's going on here? Are all fish this fragile at the end of the season? I thought the show had arranged the tuna without a fight. Dave told Paul the news. The fish is small today, only 77 inches. It's their last fish of the season. Well, it's a good way to end up. Jack returned to the port and began to sell fish. The tuna has been treated with ice. This fish is a very good size, weighs only 361 pounds. Then it's up to the fish. Fish contains more fat, and the core of the fish. The buyer offered $18 per unit. Jack and his team made $6,498. 2 days in a row. Jack, they should be the perfect end to the season. They made a lot of money this year. A total of 11 fish earned $77,000. It was a little after 4 in the afternoon. Cook and his team were very anxious. He really wanted to catch a fish to end the season and still get first place. Keep staring at the detector on the screen. Sure enough, there's tuna. This is usually the case with the bite. The fishing rod was quickly pulled. If they can catch this fish, I'm sure I'll surpass Paul for number 1. Now the top 3 are about the same number of catches and dollar amounts. The tuna soon loses its strength. Team mate attacked with a harpoon and missed twice. Even the mute wanted to open his mouth and curse. Good thing the third attack worked. They soon got the tuna under control. Also caught 2 fish on 2 consecutive days. That's really good luck. The last day ended successfully. This tuna looks very big. They have celebrated being champions. The fish is the same length as yesterday. Marcia and this side have been drinking the northwest wind. Tyler was jealous too. Paul, if he doesn't catch a fish today, could lose the top spot. Dave went back to the port to sell fish. This fish is not big, but it also weighs 182 pounds. It should be around $3,000. Fish is fatty. The buyer offered $23. They ended up with $4,100. All of a sudden, they're in second place. 4 hours until the end of the season. Paul, they're still out at sea. I wonder if this is going to change. It's really hard to say. In fact, they have caught a lot of fish. Cook, and they returned to port. It was destined to surpass Paul. This fish is the same size as yesterday. It also weighs 244 pounds. It should also be around $4,000. The buyer says the fish has a lot of fat. The color is nice too. The final bid was $24. Cook raked in over $5,800. I guess Paul's out of the picture. Cook's team went on for more than $82,000. That would be the perfect ending to the season. The top 4 are all about the same amount. All that matters is who catches the last tuna. Well, that's the end of the season. The girl group is the worst. Marcia, they ended up going 2 days without a fish. The same goes for Taylor and others. We'll have to wait until next year. You can subscribe if you like it.